7 o'clock. Welcome to the Board of Education meeting. The Rhode Island, Olivia Lake Lillian Independent School District number 2534. This is our regular meeting. So welcome. And we will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Can I make one quick comment on this? I had two parents this last week, and they were together and they were talking how excited they were that their kids are in elementary, and they came home and they knew the Pledge of Allegiance, and they came home, went through their whole thing, and I said, really? Oh yeah, they're memorizing it. They think it's the greatest thing. So I just want to say thank you for following through on that and doing that, because the parents thought it was really neat.
All right, we'll continue with our mission statement. The mission of the Bold School District is to provide all learners in the Bold community an education designed to develop the creativity, character, confidence, and skills essential to flourish in a changing global society. So with that, we will do the approval of our agenda.
So moved, Benson.
Motion is made by Benson,
Second.
seconded by Sheehan. Any discussion or questions?
I'm not sure that this needs to be added necessarily, but under my report, I had it on there. I'm going to have Ellie talk, just a little update, a modified version of what she presented to you guys in the work session. So
Okay.
I don't know that needs to be.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Anything else? Hearing nothing else, we will vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Recognition of visitors to the board meeting. Hi there, everybody. Lots of students here, lots of seniors here for their finishing out this requirement. We'll try to make this as quick and painless as possible. Right? So, public forum. Public forum is placed in the agenda for regular board meetings. During this part of each regular school board meeting, up to 10 minutes of time will be allowed for district constituents to address the school board. Each person or topic may have up to 2 minutes of time, and this is a time of listening by the board. And so if anybody would like to speak, now is the time when we just ask you to come up to the mic. Would anyone like to speak? All right, we will move on. Only one motion is needed to approve the consent items, and our consent items are this month approving bills for payment and approving the minutes of the August 22nd, 2022 board meeting.
So moved, Bookto.
Motion is made by Bookto. I will second that. And any questions or discussion on anything in consent items? All right, hearing nothing, we will vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Number 6, personnel. Approve the retirement of Dwayne Hanson effective September 30th of 2022.
So moved, Benson.
Motion is made by Benson,
Second, Jacobs.
seconded by Jacobs. Any discussion or questions?
Definitely want to thank Dwayne for his many years of service. I don't know if it's 15, but it's quite a few. And he was always, as a principal, he was always great to work with and friendly guy. And so we'll miss having him around.
Thank you.
All right. And we will vote on that. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Number 2, approve Justin Martinson as a volunteer football coach for the 2022-2023 school year.
So moved.
Motion is made by Bowen,
Second.
seconded by Sheehan. Any discussion or questions? Hearing nothing, we will vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Number 3, approve Darren Sagatol as a .9 FTE and assistant boys basketball coach for the 2022-2023 school year.
So moved.
Motion made by Bowen,
Second.
seconded by Buchtel. Any discussion or questions? Hearing nothing, we'll vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Number 4, approve Matthew Morris as a .1 FTE assistant boys basketball coach for the 2022-2023 school year.
So moved. Sheehan?
Motion is made by Sheehan,
Second.
seconded by Jacobs. Any discussion or questions? Hearing nothing, we will vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Number 5, approve Kaya Sakul as a special education paraprofessional for the 2022-2023 school year.
So moved.
Motion is made by Bowen,
Second Benson.
seconded by Benson. Any discussion or questions? Hearing nothing, we will vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Number 6, approve the resignation of Kathy Enerson, head cook, effective 9/16 of 2022.
So moved.
Motion is made by Buchtel,
Second Benson.
seconded by Benson. Any discussion or questions? Hearing nothing, we will vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Number 7, approve Kathy Enerson as a .5 library general paraprofessional and .5 cook helper for the 2022-2023 school year.
So moved. Jacobs.
Motion is made by Jacobs,
Second Benson.
seconded by Benson. Any discussion or questions on that? Hearing nothing, we will vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Number 8, approve Brooke Traeger's transfer to head cook for the 2022-2023 school year.
So moved. Sheehan?
Motion is made by Sheehan,
Second.
seconded by Bowen. Any discussion or questions? Hearing nothing, we will vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. Moving on to reports, superintendent's reports.
All right, I handed each one of you one of these here. Where do I have here? The Revolution Wellness and YMCA staff have put together a grant to get what it's called a peaceful playground. And what it is, and I didn't make copies of all of these. Color copies are so expensive. They're looking at taking the turnaround, I guess I don't even need to show you, the turnaround in the parking lot over here. And then putting different games and things like that, painting that onto the ground for people of all ages that can participate in there. So this is examples of some of the things that they've done. And so excited to see that. They're hoping to get that actually done here yet this fall. So hopefully weather will comply with that and get to see that going. It's nice to have that. So this gets so muddy out here when it's raining that the kids just can't be on the grass. So that'll be a nice alternative for that. Let's see, just for your information, I'll be attending the Superintendent State Conference on first week in October there. Then this coming Friday, I'll be at the School of Law Conference. Mr. Benson and I are both going to go to that. And it's a free conference put on by our attorneys. And they do a really good job. And it's nice getting to meet them face to face and learn all kinds of stuff. I see one of their sentences, one of the sections is, we can be sued for that. So, all right.
So where's that at?
That one's at the Minneapolis Marriott, I think. Let's see. Okay. The boiler at Bird Island. So, the boiler at Bird Island a couple of weeks ago was condemned. We cannot run the big boiler. There's two boilers, the big boiler and the small boiler. The big one will cost, it just can't be fixed. And not knowing what we're doing, we're really struggling here, what we're going to be doing in the future. We're struggling for an answer here. We checked with the fire marshal and asked if could we shut down half of the building, and their answer was no. We are asking that because that smaller boiler could possibly heat part of the building, but if there's just no way it can do it with the larger part. So we looked at some quotes, and thank you, Nexus, for helping us find some folks to work with us on this. The quotes we got were from Midwest Boiler, and then the I didn't write down the name of the other place. Yeah, so the first quote we got, we could rent a portable boiler, and the cost per month on that, we assume we'll need it for 9 months. Cost per month is $8,500 a month. And he's coming on Thursday to tell us what'll it cost us to get that installed. And the second quote we got was $10,000 a month, assuming again 9 months. He did have the setup costs, and they totaled $43,900. Yeah. So that's a lot. I don't know what the cost, obviously don't know what the cost to set it up from the other guy. We're guessing, we're hoping it's going to come in cheaper than that. But I'm not so sure that it's a good idea to be spending $100,000. So I talked to Randy Turstig, and he's got a small boiler. It doesn't produce steam, but what it can be used to do, we could put it in line. So what the problem with this small boiler, I've learned a lot about boilers. The problem with the small one is the condensate that returns to it after it's steamed. It gets down to the end of the building, and then there's a condensation pipe that turns it back into water, and it comes back to the boiler, and it cools off so much. And so now you got this little boiler that's trying to keep the steam up here, and you're throwing a bunch of cold water, and I don't know what cold is. Cold might be 100 degrees, but still, it's trying to keep that steam going and reheat that water at the same time, and the physics of that just don't work real well. So what ends up happening is that boiler then will just shut down. So we're looking into both the portable options, but then maybe Randy's smaller boiler would work. It could. I'm sorry, I didn't finish that. So you hook that up in line, and then that heats the water from, say, I'm just guessing numbers here, 100 degrees. They'll pop it up to maybe 180 degrees. And now instead of getting really cold water, that boiler is getting much warmer water, and it's going to be a lot easier for it to heat up. The concern there is we've only got one boiler going, and it's an old boiler. It doesn't have a good track record. So it could be possible that if we were doing that and it failed, we would end up getting pipes bursting over there, and it could be really ugly. We'd have to get all of our activities moved over here. I talked to Mr. Flan today. He said it's possible. It's definitely not a great idea. You'd have sports having to rotate their practice times. Some would be practicing 7 to 9:30 at night. Others would be practicing at 5 to 7:30 in the morning. So that option's $130,000 cheaper than our one quote. I don't know how much cheaper it is than the other one, but that's what we're looking at right now. what I think we need to do is we need to work with our financial advisor and figure out what they recommend for this, because and I'm stepping on the toes of the finance committee here, but what we discussed there is we're doing this roofing project and maybe using a facilities maintenance bond or another type of bond that we could use to fix the roofs. Well, maybe we could look into something like that for the boiler as well. But we've got to work with a financial advisor. Anytime you go out for a bond, you want to work with someone.
Did we get a price or a quote for a new boiler?
Well, the problem with a new boiler, and maybe Ellie, if you know, you're an engineer. My understanding though is we're going to have to put this boiler down in that where it currently is. Where
Correct, yep.
when we fix that up, that's all going to most likely get filled in. So we've got to take the wall out, get a boiler in there, which is possible, but we got to have this done in a month.
Yeah, the lead time on a new boiler won't help you this like right now, but the bigger issue is spending the money on a new boiler when we're not, if you upgrade that building,
Right.
you do it, you make it hot water and you replace all the piping. If you replace that right now, you put a steam boiler in, which is inefficient, and with all the old, probably rotting out piping. Does that make sense? So, I mean, if you're doing an upgrade, you'd want to do it hot water.
What's wrong with the old boiler? I'm not understanding. It's a platform it's sitting on?
It's the actual platform that it's sitting on,
And that can't be repaired?
well, what they have to do is they have to come in and they have to winch the entire boiler up, replace that underneath it, and then weld something onto the bottom of the boiler itself so it can sit down into that.
And that
And
can't be done?
I'm being told.
That's what, I don't think there's enough room, is what my understanding of the big boiler. There's not enough room in that building or in that to fix that boiler.
How was that boiler put in?
Probably they had a wall out, honestly. Like if it gets removed, it will get removed in pieces.
So if we went the rental route, how does the trailer sits by where the boiler is, correct?
Yeah.
How do
you
they-
have to-
outside.
You have to add on some piping.
How do they protect the pipes from freezing?
They'd have to insulate it. I mean, you try and get as much of it in the building, but obviously some of it would have to be out and they insulate it.
I'm sure for $43,900 you can keep pipes warm.
Right. It's crazy. That's a crazy number. But yeah, in the small boiler, it's just, I think the condition of the piping is so bad that like Jim said, the condensate's losing so much temperature as it's coming back to the boiler. And that's why, because I can't imagine, I don't know this for sure, that it wasn't designed to handle the load at one point. But because of the system, it's coming back too cold, and that's why Randy wants to preheat the water.
Which I think is a great idea.
But I agree with you. If it goes down, you are
That's
completely
it.
out of luck.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why there's two boilers. Like I walk into schools that have one, it's terrifying because if that boiler goes down, there's no heat.
Mhm.
So it's always,
Back up.
you always want duplicate
So if that happens, Murphy's Law, it's going to happen on the coldest day of the winter.
for sure, because that's what it's working the hardest.
Yeah. So how much time does one have? Because we get an alarm goes off, I believe.
Yeah.
So how much time do we have once that thing goes down to get it up before stuff starts bursting?
Depends on the temperature outside, but.
Well, I know, but that's what I'm
But,
saying.
like,
It's a cold day.
Maybe. I mean, honestly,
If it's 20 below, we'd probably have a day before pipes.
Yeah.
So
So this $8,500 one, that's a new one, not a used one. Is there a
That's a-
possibility of a
it's a
used?
rental.
it's a rental.
it's a rental.
So, well, right, but I didn't know if it was a new rental.
I mean,
It's-
it doesn't, because it's rental, you'd be given it, it's probably used,
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
But all that is money on top of what we've budgeted. Lindsay and I talked quite a bit here today about this. Do you have anything you want to? Is she there?
I guess my main concern, yes, is talking to a financial advisor to see what all of our options are. Only because, you know, we have so much of our LTFM designated right now for a roof project. We're just setting reserves down, and we have normal maintenance and repairs that are done on an annual basis. So we need to look how we need to budget and financially afford looking at these projects. And so, I mean, I think our next step is to get an expert involved so that we know what route we can go. Because right now, what we have in reserve, we'd be spending down a lot of our LTFM, and we wouldn't have any bank or something else were to happen besides looking at the roof and the boiler.
What does a new boiler run roughly?
Yeah.
For that, I mean, 300,000, I'm guessing. I mean, and like I said, we wouldn't be able to get it for this heating season.
We could, if we did put it in and we didn't go this route, we could sell it, right?
I mean,
Somebody with a trailer and
Mhm.
somebody makes some extra money, $10,000 a month.
So my question is
Might have a coupon.
the money that's in the CDARs right now, that 2.3 million that's sitting there, is that untouchable?
That's cash, and that's what we've built up so we can continue to operate.
Right.
We don't want to, we need to make sure that whatever option we look at is financially a good financial decision for the district.
Okay.
And that's what those are, an advisor would be able to tell us.
So I'm thinking at the 2.3 million, this is, if we did the rental just for this year, since we're kind of deciding what we're going to do, we've got money there we could use to do the rental thing for now, and then we'll have to see what the community wants us to do from here on out.
Well, before we make a decision, I want a financial advisor, a municipal advisor to advise on that. We've worked with Baird in the past. There's a lot of good ones out there.
I think Northland was who did our last one.
Northland Securities did? Okay.
I believe so.
Yeah, and I've met Ehlers. They've actually come here. Northland, he's been here. I know the Baker Tilly people. If we're going to go with these people, we're going to need them for a referendum project anyway. So I want to make sure that we're getting, Baird can do a referendum. Baker Tilly, they're used to working with really big companies. I'd like to go with one of those two. And again, we've had a relationship with Baird. My only concern about Baird is when we ran the referendum last time, there was an error in the tax calculator, and that was their error. Now that being said, I know Lindsay works at a school that had another one of these companies make the same error at one of her other schools. Was it last year? Lindsay?
Yeah.
So the errors can be made by anybody. I kind of think that Baird is aware that they did that here, and I would think they would double down on making sure that didn't.
So we're
Happen
basically
again.
just asking for their advice whether we should spend this down or not, or whether we should go for more money from the taxpayers. Is that what we're looking at?
Get their
Because-
direction on how to spend this down. You know, you're asking about the 2.3 million
Yeah.
in there. I don't know that that's a good idea.
They
If
would
we,
be able to come back and give you your options on how you can get that
Mhm.
money.
Because right now we're asking, we will be asking the communities to go for some extra money so we can do the roofing projects. Can we put that on hold till we find out? Because if we can't take it from here, we can probably ask the community for the money for the rental just till we decide how we're moving forward with our facilities.
for donation, you mean?
No, for that bond or that
Oh,
extra
so
levy
for-
money. Yeah,
yeah,
we'll just
okay.
add it to it just to get us by. I think people would understand we're in
Yeah.
kind of a dire situation.
Yeah,
It's
I know
like-
people would understand that. My couple concerns I have, we're also looking at the potential of another referendum for the overall facilities. And I hate to do one on top of the other.
We're gonna have to though, because we're sitting in a situation where we
But
don't
there's
have
a
a lot
lot
of
of different
choices.
types of levies out there. You can, I'm talking about a facilities maintenance bond. There's a, what are some of the other ones, Lindsay? There's a capital
There's a
capital facilities bond. And there's different ways of paying those back.
Mhm.
But neither one of those you actually bring to the public for a vote. You just,
Okay, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, this would be a facilities maintenance thing too.
Yeah.
It's just,
but I want to talk to a financial advisor to find out what. So I guess what I'm asking you is, do I go to Baird because we've had that relationship with them?
what do they charge?
They all of them are going to charge about the same.
Which would be,
I have no idea.
It's probably about 0.5% of what
So they take a percentage of,
you're not charging. It's a percentage of what you're doing. Like if you have a financial advisor in your home or, for your family, it's the same sort of thing. It's not like a fee that you pay them.
so Ellie told me this, you work with all these people and I asked her what's the best one to go with and they said, we don't want to, they work with all of them and so they won't help us on that one. And I appreciate that. They need to maintain relationships with all of these people. So, the information I've been getting is that they're basically all the same. They charge the same. Do you think?
Well, when you look into them, don't you just ask them that, and then that's part of your decision on how you
Yeah.
whoever you pick.
Yeah. Oh, we would absolutely get that information. One of the things, Ellie, when I've met with, I mentioned I've met with Ehlers and Northland, they're always saying, if you ever need any advice, just call us. Do you think they would weigh in on something like this and not charge us?
They might. I mean, I've gone to different ones and they've given me different information.
Okay. So
I don't want to say any names.
no. What, you've gone to different ones and they've given you different, like this one says one thing.
No, I
and-
meant they've been helpful.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So here's what I'm going to do. We've had this relationship with Baird. I think I'll call them and just find out what we need to do. And if there's not a price tag, then I'm just going to keep moving forward. We're going to most likely need a meeting again soon. And I will email out anything I get as soon as I get it. So
I think we kind of, my opinion, we've kind of got to be careful because of the situation we had last time, because people in
Yeah.
public were not, I know people make mistakes and I get that, but we don't want to go where we were before.
Yep.
We want
well,
to,
and that's why I'm asking.
yeah, I would
we
steer away from.
we dropped our baggage last time.
Mhm,
That's why Ellie's here.
yeah. I don't want, I think we've gotten a good relationship with them
Yeah.
right now that I don't want to
Yeah,
put anything in
so
that
my
way.
my only concern is does that just, should I just call Baker Tilly and just start working with them? I think they're going to be the best ones outside of Baird to have a long-term relationship with.
Might as well.
I probably would do that. I just don't want to
That's how I feel.
put any kind of,
The thing with Baird is that, and I hear this from everybody too, like, I shouldn't say everybody, I talk to 3 people. But I hate it. Kids do that to us all the time. I talked to 3 people and the thing that each of them said about they've used Baird and they like that when they go to sell a bond, they actually watch the market each day and find like the best day to actually go out and sell this. Whereas most of the other companies just kind of, we're going to buy it on September 3rd and whatever the market's doing that day, that's what they go with. That's the positive I've heard about Baird.
and maybe that's something you need to ask about. Say, this is what we liked about this company. Can you do that for us? Is that an option that you can maybe help us with and do that to give us the best?
yeah, it'll be
Option.
interesting to see what they say, because in our CDARS, we have 2.35 million in there. In our money market, we have another 790,000, and that's in Hometown Bank. In Lake Lillian, we have another quarter million, a little over $250,000. So we do have some cash there that could pay for the rentals. I'm just saying, if we don't want to do a bond and go through all the paperwork. So
Yeah.
as long as they know that, just not even the CDARS, we have that over and above that cash.
Yeah.
So
Lindsay,
to the tune of $3.6 million sitting out there.
if I can get it, would you be able to get on like a conference call maybe sometime tomorrow?
Yeah, just let me know and I will try to make whatever work.
All right.
Morning, public comment.
Yeah. So that I'll let you know tomorrow what I find out. I'll let you know if I don't find out anything. But yeah, this was not a fun day. All right, moving on. We've got negotiations with our AFSCME unions coming up. We're meeting on October 5th right here, and we'll get that underway. They were willing to allow Amy out of the union to become a free agent. I don't know what that makes you now. So we'll end up working with a new contract for Amy, and hopefully get something settled soon with there's two groups. There's the custodial group, and then the other group is made up of the administrative assistants, food service, and paras. So, which is weird. I don't understand why they had those three together, but they thought that was a good idea. Any questions for me? All right.
All right. We'll move on to the K through 12.
Oh,
next is-
sorry.
Oh, my gosh, see? I didn't write it down even.
I didn't. That's
I
why.
did. Can someone move the camera? I can. The only other thing, can you deal with lights, because that bank of lights was really glaring.
I think last time
Tried lights.
it was better with the lights on, wasn't it?
Well, it wasn't in the work session,
Wasn't it?
because it's a white screen.
All right.
So you want me to put my microphone? Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it's
What does
looking
it
pretty.
look like?
It's looking
Well, it
pretty
looks
good.
good like this, but as soon as it's white.
Up a little bit. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Good?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Well, and we'll put, Ellie, can you send me a copy of this, and then we'll just put it up on the
Yep.
website too.
Yeah, for sure. So, thanks for having me tonight. Just wanted to do a really quick update. Agenda, work to date, timeline, and next steps. So update, the facility condition assessment is complete. The educational adequacy assessment is complete. The strategic plan is complete. And the budgeting of the options is in progress currently. We met with the facility committee a couple weeks ago and showed them kind of we call them bubble diagrams of the different options, kind of talked through some different things. This is kind of what came out of that meeting. Discussed concession stand placement, moving it closer to the home team, adding restrooms so that it'd be in the building, but with outdoor access. Recommended parking lot size of 250. You're currently at about 157. And then adding an option D, which is a pre-K through 6 at Bird Island. So the timeline, I'll just high level, if you decided that you wanted to go to referendum in May, this is kind of the timeline to make that happen. So October 24th at the next board meeting, we'll have options and budgets along with those options. And then that is where phase 3, if you'd like to continue working with us, phase 3 approval would happen. And then once that happens, then the community survey could be put out, a facility task force with anyone in the community that wants to join to kind of look at the options, look at the buildings, and then eventually come up with a recommendation for the board, and also start doing some community tours. So the community has they have the availability to see the buildings as well and see the condition. And then also see some options as well. And with that, the board would have to approve what they want to go to referendum for in January. The review and comment would need to go on February 1st, and then the referendum campaign February through May. Now, the nice thing is, next year there is actually 5 times when you can go to referendum. So February, April, May, August, and November. So if things start moving too fast and you guys are uncomfortable, you can tap the brakes and push it out. So next steps, kind of like I touched on, is just moving into phase 3, which would then, we would help you kind of go into the community engagement. We would help you go from 4 options down to 1. We would do, the tours. We would help you put together the facility task force with eventually doing the referendum strategy and support, and that includes videos, flyers, working with your FA to come up with the numbers, your financial advisor. And in the end, going to the project implementation with when the referendum were to pass. So, thank you for letting me be here tonight.
Thank you.
Thank
Ellie,
you.
one thing I would ask, and this came up at our work session, can we make sure we get the budget info like a couple weeks before that meeting? Would that be possible?
I will do my best. Yes, I will do my best.
All right, we'll move on with our principals report.
I will say there's, who else?
Please, I said please.
There is no tired like the first month of school tired. It's been crazy. We're off and running, which is great. It's great to have the kids back in the building. A lot of things going on. We've got the PSAT coming up for juniors October 14th. We're gonna take the juniors to a college fair up in Ridgewater, early October 10th-ish. We've got Mandy Neibauer coming in for chair massages for staff. I think that's once a month. We're using every nook and cranny of our building for educating our kids. Bold FFA and agricultural students have been asked to help the Baumgartners and the University of Minnesota with the solar panel project. The project is, they're gonna have solar panels that will be high enough in the field that a combine and other equipment can go under. And the class is gonna be doing different measurements with the field to see how that correlates with the growth of
That's cool.
the project. The Bold FFA also has the SHIP grant, which is providing growing walls, hydroponics. So that's fun to see. I did that as well. Mrs. Fields is teaching science and has a mitochondria lesson unit and is partnering with Harvard University, and they're doing a 2-week unit on with that. I asked for some more information on it so I could get it to you guys. When I get that, I will send it out to you. Elementary is off and running. The hats, hoods, AirPods, phones has been a success. It's great to see kids' face again. So yeah, we're off and running. Questions?
What was the post numbers? Did you come up with a final number on that?
Yeah, we're very similar to last year.
Last month you had 35, or
Yeah.
at the last meeting you had 35 posts and 12 were
Have
full-time.
not changed.
So we had 12 full-time.
Have not changed.
Thank you.
So it's 12 full-time, 35 part-time? Or
12
opposite?
12 full-time, and then the rest are part-time. So
35.
there's 35 total.
Got it. Oh, got it. Yep.
I think last year there was 31 or 32. Any questions?
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Activity activities report, there isn't one. As usual, if you have any questions, please contact Mr. Flan. I do see we have a Bowl Community Pool report. Has the committee met at all?
No, we have
Okay. But please contact Tracy if you have any questions on her report. School board committee report has the facilities committee, oh, I see the pool report was after that, never
Okay,
mind.
so
I'm
sorry.
sorry, okay, facilities committee, what do you have to report?
We need a new boiler.
Kinda took your report.
Yeah, I apologize for that.
Oh, it's okay.
It was a good meeting, and then this is kind of messing with things right now. But what came out of the meeting, and step in if I'm missing anything. What came out was we've got 3 roofs that have to be done, and Lindsay is going to probably chime in here too. We got 3 roofs that need to be done. We were told that we would be very foolish. So this roof right above us is 1. The roof over the gym is 2. They're both 1999 roofs. And we would be foolish to replace this roof that really desperately needs to be replaced. We will have leaks this winter. We already know that because last winter we had a bunch. But we'd be foolish to replace this and not replace the middle, what's over the gym, because they have to bring in a dedicated crane for that. And so that's expensive. It'll cut back costs quite a bit if we replace that and this. And then the other one is the gym over at Bird Island. And so we need to, again, we need to work with a financial advisor here who can give us the best way to go about paying for this. Am I missing anything? All right.
I think so.
All right, thank you. And as I said, the pool report is in the package.
Still.
Still in the packet. All right, moving on to new business. Number 1, adopt certified proposed 2022 payable 2023 maximum levy. It's enclosure number 1.
This is something we do every year. It's kind of it's more than just a formality. You could either specify a dollar amount that you want to levy, or you could just say that you wouldn't go over, or you can just say we want to certify the full amount. I can't think of any reason why you wouldn't certify the full amount because we don't know. I mean, this boiler is a great example of stuff like this is going to happen. We don't want to limit our ability to go to the taxpayers for help. So it's not saying that we're going to levy this much money. We're just keeping a possibility out there. Lindsay, did I explain that right?
Yeah, so there's a whole timeline that goes with the levy process, and this is a piece of it. So it starts in July, where you're doing the work of getting the information to the state and the county that's specific to the district. Then here in September, the state starts running levy runs. And because they're running levy runs all the way through this whole levy process until the final levy is approved by the end of December, you don't know what the specific or what your final dollar amount is until we get to that point. So what this is saying is we're going through with we're going through this levy process, and then the timeline by September 30th, you have to have a proposed levy. So that's this process. Then we have the TNT public hearing, the TNT presentation, and then in December you'll approve the final levy just like you're doing tonight, except for that will be final and that will be a dollar amount. But right now, because we don't know that specific dollar amount, that is why we're recommending that you propose the maximum as we continue to have these levy runs that keep updating different calculations, different levy pieces, as we go through the process as numbers come in.
So that's all you wanted to know about certifying the levy.
So the maximum amount right now is 1.4 million approximately.
That at the latest, run before we put the board packet together, that's where we're currently at.
Okay.
But the state could change that number. And so if we certify 1.4 million and they say, well, you can have 1.5, well, no, we can't because we certified that number here. So what every school district I know of, and Lindsay, let me know if you know of any that don't, that everybody certifies this at the maximum.
Maximum.
Which makes sense.
Yes, I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, I can't tell you that, but, any district that I'm working with currently or that I know of usually does the maximum as they don't know the dollar amount and are not in a situation to look at a specific dollar amount.
Lindsay, what is that where it says after adjustments, it says it's down to 1.3 million, but it's, part of it's cut off. So what are, like the 1.2, what is that right before that? And I'm guessing the second one is community service for 68,000?
We'll just pull it up. I only had, let me pull it up, like the copy that I do that. Give me 1 second.
That's for last year, isn't it? 21, page 22.
Because it's way at the bottom there, see where it says after
Right.
adjustments, 1.3,
But I think that's
payable 2020.
current.
With payable 2023 levy limitation. Okay. Yep, okay.
Yeah, I think that's
Yep.
what currently is, because those numbers are known.
Oh, yeah, where it's going to be that way at the bottom.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Wait.
those can't be put in until you actually certify the final levy in December. And then they'll do more runs after that, and then those numbers will populate. But right now, there's no final levy, so that's blank. And it will be until this whole process of the levy timeline plays itself out.
what is the 68,000 for?
That's the community, so it breaks it up into different funds. So if you have your general fund, your community service fund, if we had any debt service, that would show up there, or OPEB, which we don't have either. So it's just breaking up the total levy into the different funds.
Okay,
So that's what will get coded to the community service fund, because there's different levies for ECFE and school readiness. Those are the bigger ones that hit the community service fund, so that's what that 68 is.
and these funds, these are just for maintenance? This is not to be put in the general fund for like wages or anything? Is this just for maintenance and repairs, or what are these funds for?
There's tons of different formulas that make up this levy. So some of the bigger ones, your operating capital levy, you have LTFM, which we've talked about in the past, you have that levy. There's levies for state schools. There's levies in the community service fund for ECFE and school readiness, home visits. There's levies for staff development. Sorry, I'm trying to blank right now. There's a few more that I can get you that I'm not thinking of right now. But all those by state statute, just kind of, like we were talking about earlier, all those by state statute have specific formulas and specific things that you can spend that money on. So that's just a total for you by fund.
When would we receive the funds once they decide? How soon are they available?
You're always a year behind when it comes to levy. So when you're approved, when you're going through the levy process, you're not getting the revenue till the following year.
propose it in 22 and then it's payable in 23.
Correct. That's, so by the time the process all happens, and you guys think about how you pay property taxes, the county's on a calendar year, we're on a fiscal year. So that's why it's our next fiscal year's revenue, because then the property taxes get paid out kind of in October and May timeframe, just kind of like when we all get our property tax statement and make our payment, it's in those timeframes. So that's why there's always a year delay, because you have to collect and then you have to distribute.
All right, any other questions? If not, I'm gonna make a motion to certify the proposed 2022 payable 2023 maximum levy.
I'll second it.
Motion is made by Hanson, seconded by Bowen. Enough, we'll vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Number 2, approve amending the date of the parent-teacher conferences on the master calendar from October 3rd, 2020 to October 10th of 2022.
I want to point out that this was not an error. We always have errors with the calendar. But we just never really considered the fact that this is homecoming coronation on that night. And
I'll make the motion.
Motion's made by Bookto,
Second.
seconded by Sheehan. Any discussion or questions? Hearing nothing, we will vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Number 3, approve a fundraiser, the track and field fundraiser for a burger basket night at the Olympia Legion in March. Proceeds will go towards the new starting blocks.
So moved.
Motion is made by Bowen,
Second.
seconded by Jacobs. Any discussion or questions? I don't know what night it is, but if we found that out, we could let people know that too, but look for it. Look for it out of the Legion in March, so. We will vote here. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Number 9, upcoming dates, October 24th, 2022, school board meeting, 7 p.m. in the district office. Obviously, we will be having a special meeting
we may.
before that time on the boiler. And now, that's probably take a picture of the water.
I was actually going to have a bottle ready for you. I forgot.
All right, here we go. No. So, it's been. Because our list of gifts, grants, and requests is long, which is awesome. So that is what we're doing right now. So member
Benson.
Benson introduced the following resolution and moved its adoption. Whereas Hometown Bank and the American Legion have generously donated $800 to the Boulder Robotics team. Whereas Central Region Cooperative with managed funds from CoBank have generously donated $5,000 to the Boulder FFA chapter. Whereas Candy, Ohio Renville County SHIP has generously granted $2,997.90. Put 10 cents in there. Sorry, to the whole FFA chapter. Whereas Beaver Creek Transport and Scott and Randy Tursey Farms has generously donated a toolbox and tools to the Bold Industrial Technology Program. Whereas Tursey Cattle Company and Alan Page Turstig have generously donated a toolbox and tools to the Bold Industrial Technology Program. Whereas Sullivan Auctioneers has graciously donated a toolbox and tools to the Bold Industrial Tech Program. Whereas Citizens Alliance Bank has graciously donated a toolbox and tools to the Bold Industrial Tech Program. Whereas Corn Capital Innovations has graciously donated a toolbox and tools to the Bold Industrial Tech Program. Whereas Beck Seed has graciously donated a toolbox and tools to the Bold Industrial Tech Program. Whereas the Star Group, Napa Auto Parts, has graciously donated 2 bench grinders to the Bold Industrial Tech Program. Whereas Jane Kelchin Klink and Nicole Kelchin have generously donated lumber to the Bold Industrial Tech Program. Whereas Justin Kubash has graciously donated 2 floor jacks to the Bold Industrial Tech Program. Whereas Ricky J's Car Wash has generously donated 5 retractable air hose reels and tools to the Bold Industrial Tech Program. Whereas Sheehan's LP Gas has generously donated carpentry tools to the Bold Industrial Tech Program. Whereas J. Berg Sales and Service has generously donated 20 digital dial calipers to the Bold Industrial Tech Program. Whereas Greg and Sheila Steffel have generously donated 2 heavy-duty engine stands to the Bold Industrial Tech Program. Whereas Tisdale Ag has generously donated miscellaneous tools and equipment to the Bold Industrial Tech Program. Whereas PT Mac, Pat and Terry McNamara have generously donated 2 Craftsman vacuums to the Bold Industrial Tech Program. Whereas Logan and Fawn McNamara have graciously donated 2 DeWalt drills, drivers, and drill bits.
Start over.
2 DeWalt drill drivers and drill bits to the Bold Industrial Tech Program. Oh, all the way to the beginning. No, kidding. Sorry. Whereas Dennis and Mary Jo Erickson have graciously donated a DeWalt miter saw to the Bold Industrial Tech Program. Whereas Reflections by Becky Cole have graciously donated 10 heavy-duty totes to the Bold Industrial Tech Program. Whereas M&W Auto Clinic has graciously donated 2 engine stands and used miscellaneous engines to the Bold Industrial Tech Program. Therefore be it resolved by Bold School Board gratefully accept these gifts. The motion for adoption of the foregoing resolution was duly seconded by member
Jacobs.
And upon a vote being taken thereon, the following voted in favor thereof. Sandy.
Aye.
Teresa.
Aye.
Todd.
Aye.
Tracy.
Aye.
Brian.
Aye.
And I myself, I am an aye. The foregoing resolution was approved this 26th day of September 2022, and thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Oh,
Yes.
yes. And if there's any other programs out there that need stuff, maybe we should figure out a way to get those. Let those needs be known too. So it's been a very generous public. So with that, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn here. And I'll make it.
I'll second.
All right. Motion is made by Hanson, seconded by Buchel. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion carries. 7:57.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
I'll live this short as any other year. Did well.
If it weren't for the boiler, it would have been a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you went to broke that boiler.
Yeah, way to go.
Lindsay, thank you very much.
Lindsay.
Thanks,
Lindsay.
Lindsay.
Feel better.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Mind if I
Not bad.
call Randy and Greg?
Go home and get my Jimmy Whims in.
There's no way of storing that.
Okay.
I don't have
Yes.
any problem with that.
Tomorrow. That's tomorrow night.
And I even made a note, because I want to talk to them.
Over there.
I don't remember-
Take some in here, too.
I don't remember exactly what it was.
3:30, so.
What I want to say is
I
that
better
it
put
just,
that on my
the
phone.
cost of
Yeah.
doing
Give me
this
a jingle. I don't have my phone with me.
might equal the cost of it. But,
Thank you.
Jeff,
but yeah, no, I
What'd you
think
say when
definitely.
you were
You have to
full? I
rent one,
said,
you
I
have to
told
bring
her,
in all, they have
a
to
real
cut in
friend
piping.
brings you
I'm
the
gonna make
phone.
that
and
old,
so she-
I don't know, I just,
That's cute.
and I'm sure there is some good reasons why, but.
She goes, "See you later." Yeah, we did.
It supports Randy, I mean,
Absolutely.
put a support underneath it for years.
Yeah, anywhere down here?
That's-
But the problem is they can't design it to last. They have to.
There you go. Yeah.
Classy.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, I,
So,
my case of whatever, if you can
No, I'm
get
not,
this through.
I'm sure once we get to look at it, it'll all make sense, but it just.